What's going on, it's your boy JP bringing you a new discussion video of the new DDD support cards. Now I don't know how many of you guys know this, but DDDs are in fact one of my top 3 favorite archetypes ever. So as soon as I saw news that they're giving new support to the archetype, I couldn't resist. I had to sit down and do a video discussing my opinions and giving you guys the new information. First thing I'd like to say, I was afraid when it was first confirmed that we are getting these new DDD cards from the anime that they would change the effects, because the effects were so fucking cool in the anime and I just really wanted them to be the same in the TCG or the real life card game, you could say. And luckily they weren't changed too much, if changed at all. They're pretty much the same, and in my opinion that's really good for the archetype. So without any further ado, let's get into this. So the first card we're going to be looking at is DDD Wave Hacking Executive Cesar, just because it is the lowest level or rank, whatever you'd like to say, and I thought it'd just be fitting to go in sequence from smallest to largest. But anyway, first thing I'd like to say is the artworks on these new cards are absolutely amazing. I'll zoom in on them right now for you guys, but just look at these, look at all the detail with them, just look at all the effort that these designers have to put into these cards. They're absolutely amazing. I love the DD archetype for the design so much. The design of all the cards are usually amazing. Of course that's not the only reason I love the archetype, but the designs are absolutely amazing. You have to say that hands down. So anyway, Cesar has 2800 attack and 1800 defense. Its materials say 2 level 6 Fiend type monsters, so that's not too hard. It's kinda easy with Genghis, you can just use 2 of those, but it'll be hard using regular level monsters because of you don't really use too many higher level DDD cards. So really the only way you're going to be bringing this out, unless you change up the regular style deck, is just by using 2 Genghis, and that's not too much of a big deal anyway. So anyway, Cesar's effect reads off: 1. When a monster effects a spell / trap card that would special summon a monster or monsters as activated, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and negate that activation if you do destroy it. Then you can target 1 other DD monster you control and it gains the same amount of attack until the end of its turn. So that alone is a really good card effect, and it could give great advantage if you have it out on the field. Not only does it stop a special summon, but you gain attack. So if you were, say, in a winning position where the opponent had an empty board and you're attacking, and they want to use, say, Call of the Haunted, negate it, gain extra attack, and you can just finish off the opponent. This could also be used in many situations. It could save your ass if maybe they're going to push to you and they go to special summon something, like not doing that, and then you gain attack, and then whatever they have can't get over you. This effect can be really well used, and I can see it being a huge advantage when link summoning is around, as well as all of these effects really. All of them will be really good for the DDD archetype once link summoning is around, just because it gives card advantage, and we're going to need that with the new rules. So Cesar's second effect reads off: if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Dark Contract card from your deck to your hand. So this is pretty much the same thing as the original Cesar. In fact, the whole trio basically had the same effect, just upgraded. And I really like this factor because of it's not changing the card too much, just really upgrading it. And my overall thought, Cesar, really well. It's going to be really good in the current meta. It's going to be useful when link summoning's around. The only problem is, since DDDs have a really strict extra deck, it's going to be hard to fit in cards and jumble the extra deck around to be able to use these in your cards without destroying the deck too much. But if you can manage to use it, it's going to be a great card, it's going to be a great asset. And the fact that if they somehow get over it, you get a Dark Contract card, it's great. It's going to be really useful. So moving on, the next card we're going to be looking at is DDD Great Flame King Executive Genghis. So again, like Cesar, this one is 2 levels higher than its previous counterpart. Its artwork is also slightly changed just to make it look more fearsome and stronger. Its effect is also pretty similar, but anyway, let's get into that right now. So first off, he is level 8, and it could be really good for the DDD archetype, as it does heavily rely on a lot of level 8 shenanigans. Not so rely on, but you can do a great amount of plays with level 8s. So DDD Great Flame King Executive Genghis has 2800 attack and 2400 defense, which is pretty decent. It's a lot higher than its previous counterpart, and this is a good thing that it's gotten buffed, because with the old Genghis it kinda get destroyed a little bit too easy, but with this at least it's more bulky and will be able to stay on the field for a lot longer. So to fusion summon him, you have to have one level 5 or higher DD monster and one DD monster. That's a pretty easy thing to do. You can just use Swirl Slam and ditch a Ragnarok or anything like that. It's not too hard at all. You could even use a Thomas. As I said, it's really not that hard. But anyway, his effect reads off: if another DD monster or monster is normal or special summoned to your field, while you control this face-up card except during the damage step, you can target one DD monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So the first thing that I realized, so the great thing about this is it isn't restricted to special summoning, it counts for normal summoning as well, which could be really useful with getting off combos, since most of them start from one single special summon. So you can just normal summon something, special summon another, and then the whole shenanigans will start, and that would be really damn useful. And this will also be useful with link summons, because this card will take up the spot of the link area, and then you can special summon other cards. And it's also been proven that with link cards or monsters, you can special summon them to the field with Monster Reborn or any other card that brings them back from the grave. So again, this will be really good for when link summoning comes around, but even when it comes to the straight off meta right now, it's great for combos and it's really easy to bring out, so it's absolutely perfect. I just hope we don't get this actual card too late. So his second effect reads off: once per turn, when a spell or trap card or effect is activated during your turn, you can negate that activation. Now that's not bad at all, because of it, you can just get rid of anything. You can get rid of any problems. They go to MSTU, gone. They go to use a trap card, Mirror Force, gone. A monster effect, no worries. It's really good. And if you pair this up with Cesar, you have a really good offense and defense together. So again, it's great, easy to summon, and it can really bring you back with combos. Now for the big guns of the trio, DDD Ghost Emperor Executive Alexander. First off, again, look at this art. I think it has amazing art. Its armor looks great. I love the style of sword they use. It's really different to other ones. And I just love the colors of it. I'd also like to mention, if you guys haven't noticed, all of the trio have two colors, and both of them are based off of the type of card they are. So Synchro's two colors are green and white, and what's this guy's colors? White and green. And Cesar, the colors for Xyz are purple and black. His colors are black and purple, so it's a really cool how they've added that in. So anyway, this card has 3000 attack and 2500 defense. So the first thing that comes to mind is it's another Blue Eyes. It's another sort of ace card that any person would use, so that's really cool. It's also a level 10, which is kind of hard to bring out. It's not too hard, but it's going to take a lot more effort and more resources than usual. But luckily for us, Omega will kind of help with that. So if you banish things to bring up this, it's not too much of a big issue. But anyway, it says to summon this, you need one tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. So it doesn't specifically say DDDs. So that is really good, because you can use another synchro monster. You could use any monster you special summon. It's really not going to be too hard of an issue. And DD tuners are actually really good, especially how they tend to special summon either themselves or other cards from the grave. It could really pair up with this. Now, do you want to know what would be great if it didn't actually list one DD tuner, because you could just straight up use Formula Synchron with any level 8? That would be fucking amazing, but unfortunately it says DD tuner, but fair enough, because it is a DD card for a DD archetype. But anyway, he has two effects like all of the other cards of the trio. It also says you can only use the main effect once per turn. So anyway, its first effect reads: if there are 3 or more DDD monsters on the field, this card gains 3000 attack. So no, it says DDD, not DD. So it highly implies you have to have Cesar, Genghis, Ragnarok, any of those guys. But it's still not too hard, especially with all the combos DDDs can pull off. It's straight up great. And you're basically getting a straight up easy 3000 attack, and that would be great for defense, offense. It's just great in general. It's a really good and handy effect, and it's pretty much good in every situation, unless, you know, you're getting magic cylindered. So his second effect reads off: if a DD monster other than this card is normal or special summoned while this card is face up, you can target one DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it. I should also mention, for this card, both effects are actually limited to once per turn. Unlike the other ones, usually the main effects are just once per turn, but this card is both. But this is still a really good once per turn as well. It's similar to Flame Genghis. However, card is normal special summon, you can bring out another one from your grave. That is really useful. Again, these cards are great for combos, it's great for offense, defense, and all of them are relatively easy to bring out. So these cards are great for the archetype straight up, and I can't wait to use them. So overall, my thoughts of this card, it's great, and I really don't see too much of an issue with this card. It gives you advantage with attack, and it special summons another DDD to the field, which is really useful as well. So we're moving on into more of a discussion part of this video. So again, I like to say I'm really glad that they didn't change the effects, because again, the effects in the anime were great, and I'm glad we'll actually be able to use them ourselves when you're dueling, because that would just be absolutely great. Just imagine all the combos you can pull off. DDDs were already a very combo orientated deck, they could easily do combos, but this just helps out so much, as well as giving raw power and strength to the deck, as well as a lot of card advantage, how it negates opponents' cards, or you profit from them using cards. Now I did mention this earlier on in the video, but when link cards come around, these could be really useful, because of the meta will be more slow and be very more limited with what you can do. But with these cards and how they don't specifically say what you have to summon, it only has to be a DD card. If you have one of these out in the field and you normal or special summon, you can bring out other cards easily, and then you can use them to link summon other cards, which lets you bring out other extra deck cards, or even just bring out raw power on its own. It's really going to be useful, especially how DDs have Ragnarok, who's a pretty decent card in its own, and it's not even an extra deck card. So I reckon these are going to be really useful, and even though we have a little bit of a nerf for pendulums, it's not too much of an issue at all, because DDDs, they never really relied on the pendulum mechanics on its own. Now, I also mentioned this earlier on in the video, but this will be really good for the current meta, just because you can negate summons, effects, and you just gain card advantage off of it. I could see it being really well against certain archetypes out there, especially ones that try to abuse those factors. Even though it's once per turn, it could still really change the game for you. Again, I like to say how it's really cool that they actually decided to bring us a new, stronger version of our previously loved trio, because all of them are really good in their old counterparts, but the fact that it got boosted, upgraded, and just give you a lot more card advantage is absolutely amazing. The design and everything about them is great, and I'm seriously glad that they did actually release these new counterparts. I apologize if you're getting annoyed when I'm re-saying some things, and I'm also just sort of summarizing what I've previously mentioned before. So I reckon it's also really cool how they aren't really too hard to summon. You can pretty much summon an out first turn with DDDs, not all of them, but a majority of them. I mean, if you do up the deck, you could bring all three of them out in the first turn, which would be really useful, but all of them are relatively easy. Say, Cesar is just 2 Ragnaroks, his Cesar is just 2 Genghis, and then the new Genghis, you could just swell slam Ragnarok, and then with Alexander, it's just not hard because you can spam out tuners as well as non-tuner monsters, so it's not hard at all. So again, the main issue with this is that DDDs have a really tight extra deck, so it would be really hard to rearrange the deck to make it useful in all sort of areas, because previously you'd have your Xyz, which would help out in situations, you would have your synchros to help spam the field, your fusions to also help spam out the field, because this deck uses all sort of summoning mechanics, Xyz, synchro, and fusions, and all of them are really good for this deck, and you can bring out a huge majority of them. You can bring out level 8s, you can just spam out a huge amount of synchros, and all of them, especially the trio, have their own effects which really help. And fusion cards in this archetype also have some really good effects. Actually, I take that back, all of them really do, because of even the Xyz Ragnarok is really good for card advantage and just bringing out power and new ways to win. Again, I like to say that the new designs for these cards are really well made. I really do like them. I seriously have no complaints about them at all. I think they're really well done. Now, to get out of the summary, and what I would really like to say is I seriously hope that we get some DDD link monsters, because DDDs are meant to be able to summon all sorts of summoning mechanics. You know, they have everything so far, other than a ritual, of course. And the fact that link monsters are going to be so heavily reliant in the new meta, it's going to be great, or it would be great, if DDDs got their own personal link cards, especially if they were easy to summon with some really good effects. That would seriously help DDD so much. They'd easily be meta, they would easily be tier 1. They just need to give us some even not so good link monsters. Any sort of link monsters which even somewhat help DDDs would be really damn good. And seeing a blue DDD card like that, or just the fact that they're putting effort into DDDs and giving us new support with the new meta game would be absolutely great. I'd fucking love them forever if they did do that. So that is pretty much it for what I was wanting to say. Other than this deck with its new support would be really good. If you can somehow rearrange things and fit everything in, the deck will seriously be something to be afraid of. Other decks have to be very careful what plays they do, what effects they activate, what cards they use, and raw power alone won't be able to get over you because of you have Alexander there, which is straight up 6,000 attack. So again, these cards are great, they're really useful, I have no complaints about them at all, but I will mention the fact that the highest level out of a trio is level 10. So if we're going to continue the same theme they're doing, we could get one extra stage where Alexander is 12, Genghis is 10, and Cesar is 8. And they won't be hard to summon at all. I can't say for Alexander and Genghis, for level 8, no problem at all for DDDs. So if that does end up happening, that would just be awesome. I could imagine their designs, their effects, just because of it'd be hard to step up with what we currently have. So anyway, before I keep on rambling, as I always say, I'm gonna end this off here. So leave your thoughts and your opinions of these new cards. Also say what you'd like to see, or what you thought of what I have mentioned, or even just say what you think about the artwork, or what you would see, or what you would think if they brought out a new link monster for DDDs. So leave all sorts of feedback in the comments. But anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, bye bye. I will catch you later. Peace.
Let me get a pop when the beat goes.